Blockbuster free agent news as the Lucha Bros are set to leave AEW and look to join WWE. This according to a new late-breaking report that we're just getting from WrestlePurists. I'm going to talk about what exactly is in that report, what this means for AEW, what it could mean for WWE, as it looks like all signs are pointing to them joining that company. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you everything we know. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. All right, let's talk about the Lucha Bros. They have been with All Elite Wrestling ever since the first ever show. They have been, in many ways, AEW originals and part of the legacy of AEW, even before the company started back in 2019. Remember, it was Penta who helped headline that All-In show back in September of 2018. That was essentially the genesis of what we would then go on to call All Elite Wrestling. And they've been right there since the beginning. Rey Fénix and Penta have been two of the biggest acts, both on an individual level, and as a tag team. But it looks like that run is coming to an end, like I said before, as WrestlePurists and Ibu from WrestlePurists specifically has reported the following quote. According to multiple sources, AEW sources, the Lucha Bros are expected to leave AEW when their contracts expire this year. Some sources speculated that they were heading to WWE. Some claimed it was a formality. They were originally planned for an AEW World Trios title match at Wembley, but plans have now changed. That is, again, on WrestlePurists Worldwide, according to Ibu, who, by the way, is pretty well sourced in AEW when it comes to that. So he's definitely a voice to listen to, and a lot of people have been indirectly confirming this, that, like, it's unexpected, and in many ways, this is unexpected. We had heard rumblings a couple of months ago, and I had talked about it on the channel, that Penta specifically was looking to see what life outside of AEW would be and what that could look like. And of course, his contract was coming up. We all knew that. It was right in the fall of 2024. And the question was not like, if he would look to maybe join WWE or whatever, but would AEW get a chance before he did indeed leave? Because Penta, as much as people who have been, tribal in whatever way, have derided him and said, oh, well, he's not that good, is a spectacular talent. And he connects with the audience in a way that I think people, do not get or admit. And I think once, and if he does go to WWE, we'll see that firsthand. He's going to connect immediately because he's got a chant that's over. He's got a moveset that's to die for. And he's just looks so cool. Both him and Rey Fénix, look so cool. But Penta especially has the look down. He has the look of a star, a look of a champion. I think the sky is the limit for both these guys. But Penta as a singles guy, anywhere he goes, I think has a huge future. Remember, he was, a great singles guy before AEW started as well. So there's a lot to like there. And I think for WWE, which again, it looks like some sources are speculating that, like, hey, it looks like that's where they're going. And people are going to ask, like, oh, would WWE want them? Of course they would. Of course they would. This is one of the best tag teams of this generation. And you can scoff at that all you want. You can say whatever. The truth is that Penta and Rey Fénix have helped define this era of tag team wrestling just as much as the Young Bucks, just as much as the Usos, just as much as FTR. They are right there in that conversation when it comes to the best tag teams of this era. And if you ask me and a lot of other people, personally, they had the best tag team match I've ever seen in that steel cage at All Out 2021. The match of the night on arguably the best wrestling show of the past 20 years, that takes a lot of talent to accomplish. So they have the talent. They have the charisma. They can get over. And I think for WWE, it's a no-brainer. Because, again, every time you are able to take a star from AEW or lure someone in, persuade them in, that is going to help you. That is going to help WWE in the perception war, because it's going to perpetuate the feeling that WWE is indeed the place to be. And on top of that, you are getting two cannot miss talents in Penta and Rey Fenix. And you're looking to bolster that tag team division, which WWE really needs to do. The tag team division is not great right now, for being honest. They just dropped the belts from DIY over to Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, which is fine. And I think Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga can really hold it down on SmackDown. But you need tag teams to face off against them. If you really want to build out a true tag team division in WWE, you need to have tag team specific storylines. You can't just have people come together who have never tagged together and, are basically going to go their separate ways after a 2-month run. You need more than that. You need time invested. You need storyline time invested in your tag team division. And I think two guys that are going to immediately help fans and WWE take that more seriously are Penta and Rey Fenix. As I've said before, two of the best talents of this generation. And it's you want to talk about AEW. Is it a loss for them? It is. And, we can talk about that in a separate time, and I think there will be a time. But if they do not come back to AEW, the big question is going to be what could have been. Because you could argue, and I would, that the Penta and Rey Fenix peaked early on in AEW. The first 2 years, they were hitting on all cylinders. They were right up there with the best of the best in the company. They were presented as if they were up there with the best of the best in the company. And over the past 2.5 years, it's kind of been hit or miss. And, for every single time, Rey Fenix had that great moment where he won the international championship, which again was not supposed to happen. You have him just not being on TV after that. You have him getting injured. You have, Penta kind of being lost in the shuffle and just showing up to do a crazy spot, showing up to be, the other Penta. There's so many things that have left fans wanting over the past year or so in these two that I think, in part, and a large part, I think, is it's just time to leave the territory. And this is something I've talked about before. Sometimes it is just a part of the business. It's just a part of the growth as an individual and as characters. It's time to just leave the current company you're with and try something new. Create something exciting. Look at what other opportunities are on the horizon. And when you look to WWE, there's a lot more for Penta and Rey Fenix to do there than I could argue with AEW at this point. Doesn't mean they can't come back. Doesn't mean there won't be opportunities down the line. But right now, I think this may be the best decision for Penta and Rey Fenix. And from a financial standpoint, it's good for the talent. There's going to be a lot of people who say, Penta and Rey Fenix, they betrayed AEW or whatever. And just like people say with WWE and the other way around, reality is this is happening because AEW exists, right? The fact that talent have other places to go and these companies are being competitive, it means that the parity that AEW created in professional wrestling is working. That is a good thing for the product. It is a good thing for the wrestlers. It is a really good thing for the fans as well, because wrestlers get to have new experiences and get paid. We get to see new revitalized visions for talents that we're already familiar with, or we get to be introduced to these already established acts who maybe we didn't get a chance to see elsewhere. And also, we as fans just get to watch it all go down and fantasy book. That's one of the cool parts of this current day and age in wrestling is the fantasy book. What happens next? All right, here's what we do next. Here's what they do next. Penta and Rey Fenix would absolutely throw, a massive wild card into everyone's fantasy booking for the tag team division. And it would get people talking. And that's what WWE wants. That's what AEW wants. That's what every wrestling company wants. You want people talking about your product. You want people excited about your product. And, if there's anything that AEW can take away from this is, all right, 2 big spots just opened up. Who is the next tag team up that's going to take that spot? And that is something that we're going to have to find out over the next little while. I think, I have some names personally that I would love to see. I think that Jay White and Juice Robinson proved last year in that match against FTR that they're right up there. I know that Jay White, they probably want him to go into some sort of singles run at some point, and I think they should. But if that's not in the cards right now, tag team division is right there. Or you could go and push a young guys like putting together Leo Rush and Dante Martin, picking up where they left off back in 2021. Possibilities are through the moon. I can't wait to see what happens, though. But for the time being, it looks like Lucha Bros are set to leave AEW unless something changes. And they look to be WWE bound. Crazy, crazy stuff. Exciting stuff. That's the world we live in. That is professional wrestling in 2024. Guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section. If you haven't already done so, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.